I asked my German friend if he knew the square root of 81. He said no. Today, I'm going to recap a 2016 action thriller film called Sniper, Ghost Shooter. The film initiates in the harsh landscape of Syria, where a terrorist cell is concocting a scheme to assassinate American hostages at a seaside location. A military man identified as Miller coordinates a sniper crew into strategic positions, with the objective to eradicate the terrorists who intend to publicize the hostage situation as an act of retribution against the United States. Prior to any action, the team anticipates instructions from Miller. Unexpectedly, a young individual among the terrorists is given the task to execute one of the hostages. Upon Miller's order for Beckett to take the shot, he stumbles, prompting Miller to direct Barnes to fire immediately. Nevertheless, Barnes misfires, causing the terrorists to panic and subsequently murder a captive. The sniper squad and an attack helicopter then obliterate the terrorists as they attempt to flee towards the shore. Despite accomplishing their primary objective of exterminating the terrorists, the loss of one hostage remains a grim result. Miller reaches out to Beckett for a debrief, who vows to improve his performance in future operations. In the wake of their mission, Cervantes and Rojas indulge in celebrations on a dock in Istanbul, Turkey, along with Beckett and Aungst. During the merriment, Aungst alludes to their prior assignment, leading to a state of unease for Beckett, who holds him responsible for his moment of hesitation. Beckett removes himself from the group to enjoy his drink in solitude. Cervantes offers him comfort and suggests he unwind. Acknowledging this, Beckett expresses a need for some solitude. A lady, glancing at Beckett, walks away after Cervantes respects his wish for isolation. Drawn to her, Beckett follows her to the pier's edge, initiates a flirtatious conversation, and begins to discuss their ongoing operation in Istanbul. Concurrently, a dubious individual advances toward the deserted structure's rooftop in the distance, equips a sniper rifle, and targets Beckett. Beckett's commanding officer, Bidwell, fortuitously intercepts and neutralizes the sniper. He urgently contacts Beckett and demands a meeting as Beckett converses with Bidwell. The woman subtly disappears without him noticing. Bidwell informs him of the foiled assassination attempt and warns him to be more vigilant in the future. Upon learning of the Syrian operation from Miller, Beckett confesses to Bidwell about his hesitation, considering the young age of one terrorist. Bidwell counsels that while possessing a conscience isn't detrimental, it shouldn't hinder his decision-making abilities. The team convenes with their colonel to strategize their forthcoming mission, safeguarding a gas pipeline in Georgia from terrorist threats. Beckett encounters the woman from the pier once more. Identifying herself as Slater, she assumes leadership of the operation. Their task is to neutralize enemy snipers, with Slater providing drone support. The subsequent day, the team arrives at the Georgia pump station, where Slater elucidates the operation specifics. They are tasked with providing security for an oil magnate, Killian, upon his arrival at the station over a span of 2 hours. The head of the terrorists, Gazakov, orchestrates the insurgents' attack on Killian. The team mobilizes into action, settling into their allocated positions surrounding the station. Aungst observes a fleeting glimmer in the far-off distance and alerts the rest of the team, but his warning comes too late. An anti-tank sniper from the terrorists' side fires at one of Killian's protection vehicles, prompting the rest of the bodyguards to retaliate against the terrorists. Amidst the chaos, a sniper singles out Rojas and Aungst. The sniper manages to assassinate Rojas without drawing the attention of the others. In response, Slater deploys her drones to provide superior tactical support. Evidently, someone is directing the enemy sniper's aim. Maines becomes a casualty of the enemy sniper's shot, while a terrorist takes down Killian's personal bodyguard. The commanding colonel detects the terrorist on the radar and instructs for missile strikes at the location from which the terrorists are attacking. The soldiers rally to protect Killian. In the meantime, Aungst and Beckett attempt to tend to Rojas's critical neck injury, but she succumbs to severe blood loss. Miller, Slater, and their forces survey the region where the terrorists are deploying the anti-tank sniper. In a state of shock, Beckett scatters the remains of Gazakov's brother-in-law and accuses Colonel Sergei of possibly assisting the terrorists with intelligence. Beckett grows suspicious of a potential ambush due to the absence of casualties among Sergei's soldiers. Subsequently, Colonel Sergei assigns Beckett to a station in the highlands, escorted by Saajid and a member of the team he's expected to join, a squad responsible for pipeline defense. Upon their arrival at the station house, they are received by Russian men, who only confront Beckett once he reaches the station. Andrei, the man at the helm, is impressed by Beckett's skill set and calls off the conflict. Afterwards, Andrei takes everyone outside and clarifies how Beckett came to be part of his team. When Beckett is reprimanded for insubordination, he divulges that a traitor in Georgia is covertly passing on information to the B terrorists. While he has lost his comrades, not a single Georgian soldier has been killed. Andrei suggests that Beckett gather more evidence to validate his accusation against the Georgians. Additionally, Beckett needs to track down the killer of his friends and make him confess their deployment details. While keeping an eye on it, Andrei and his team catch Chechen thieves looting a surveillance station. Andrei plans to eliminate all armed intruders that venture into the facility. Contrarily, Beckett thinks they should incapacitate them instead. Andrei challenges Beckett to illustrate his plan, while the others provide cover for him. Andrei prepares to initiate the confrontation. Beckett attempts to negotiate with the burglars, but they respond with suspicious behavior. Andrei reacts by gunning down one of the intruders, leaving just one alive for questioning. Later in the evening, they delve into their respective histories. Andrei recounts an earlier experience where he had to face a young boy involved in warfare. His reluctance to take the boy's life resulted in a concealed bomb taking out his fellow soldiers. He imparts to Beckett that an adept sniper must relinquish their moral compass to carry out their duty without hesitation. The following day, Saajid spots terrorists in the mountainous terrain and speculates that they are Chechens coming to liberate their captive. Quickly, they install explosives in various strategic locations, readying themselves for the impending battle. Each person takes up their position, with Andrei and others holding the fort at the station. Meanwhile, Beckett and Saajid establish themselves behind rock formations to provide sniper support. The Chechens launch their assault on the station and open fire almost immediately. Andrei and his team respond with force, taking down any adversary they encounter and triggering the planted explosives. When the Chechens locate Beckett, they unleash an RPG attack, which Beckett and Saajid narrowly dodge. After landing safely, Beckett goes looking for Andrei. Concurrently, Saajid turns traitor, scheming to assassinate Beckett and join the enemy ranks. They subsequently capture Andrei and prepare to execute him. Luckily, Beckett arrives just in time to neutralize all the threats, including Saajid, and rescues Andrei. Andrei praises Beckett for showing no hesitation in shooting Saajid, thus concluding Beckett's probation period. Upon his return to the base, Beckett is immediately tasked with making contact with Mothershed in Georgia. He retrieves the remains of Gazakov's brother-in-law with the intention of meeting Gazakov and uncovering the source of their intelligence. The following day, Mothershed accompanies him to Gazakov's location, with a drone providing aerial support. Although the drone picks up enemy movement, it is unable to identify the individuals. They eventually encounter Gazakov's troops, to whom Mothershed returns the ashes. Beckett probes about the source of the coordinates for the sniper team. However, he remains skeptical about the terrorists' claim of divine providence. Gazakov shows up unexpectedly and affirms the truthfulness of his men. As the colonel notices his troops in distress, he orders a missile strike for their rescue. Beckett comes across a terrorist carrying a thick book and a satellite uplink device. The missile hits their location just as Beckett and Mothershed managed to escape in the nick of time. Back at the operations base, Slater demands an explanation for their rendezvous with Gazakov. Beckett informs her that he noticed the terrorists carrying a bulky book and a satellite uplink device, suspecting that these were used to determine their coordinates. Through Slater's phone, the colonel reaches out to Beckett, instructing him to undertake his new assignment of rejoining his team and safeguarding Killian. Upon Beckett's arrival at the pumping station in Georgia the next day, he is greeted by Cervantes, who informs him that the rest of the team is already on a mission in the highland, having located Gazakov's base there. As Beckett evaluates the potential dangers of the operation, they hurry to join their comrades. In the highlands, Miller, Barnes, and Aungst are providing long-range cover for the ground forces. Given their revelation of the Ver coordinates somewhere within the Kutisi area, drones hover above, constantly monitoring Miller and the other sharpshooters. In an attempt to divert the attention of the snipers, the terrorists take down one of the ground troops. An enemy sniper makes an unsuccessful attempt to target Aungst. In response, Aungst quickly alerts her team about the terrorist location at the White House. After she takes a bullet to the shoulder, Barnes rushes over to provide immediate medical assistance. Beckett and Cervantes arrive in the nick of time, advising Miller to discard their GPS-tracked vests. Simultaneously, the ground troops reach the White House only to find it deserted by the terrorists. Slater and Sergei arrive at the scene to assess the situation. Beckett raises his concern about the drone issue again, but Slater remains skeptical. Eventually, Miller and Sergei give his claim some thought. Beckett and the rest of the team restock their ammunition at the operations base. Before long, the colonel pays a visit to Miller's team. Miller explains the issue with the drone's GPS tracking and mentions the trap at Gazakov's Kutaisi residence. Agreeing with Beckett's conjecture, Miller lends his support. The colonel takes stock of the situation and dispenses new directives. He unveils their upcoming mission to take out Gazakov and his troops. Satellite imagery suggests that Gazakov plans to attack the station the next day. Reinforcements are expected to arrive by dusk to handle the leftover terrorists under Gazakov's command. Miller expresses his concern about the drones being visible to the terrorists, but Slater dismisses this as an impossibility. The colonel orders them to switch off their GPS devices and brace for the impending attack. Miller and his team make their way to the target location. Beckett has reservations about the mission and shares with Miller his suspicion that the attack could happen today itself, given the vulnerability of the station. Miller mentions that he spotted Gazakov moving towards the base on satellite images and that this information was relayed to him. Beckett then shares his theory on how they located the site, likely via the drone network. Beckett manages to convince Miller that the intelligence they received could be misleading. Without further delay, they head back to the station. In the interim, Gazakov initiates his attack inside the station, which is only guarded by a handful of soldiers, leaving the station virtually unprotected. The colonel and Slater make desperate calls for backup from the base, but understand that it will take a while before the reinforcements arrive. Not long after, Miller and his team show up to assist the beleaguered soldiers. However, their presence has been noticed by the enemy snipers who now have them in their crosshairs. Beckett manages to locate the terrorist holding the elusive book and takes him out. The confrontation reaches a critical point when Beckett finally locates and eliminates Gazakov, forcing the remaining terrorists to retreat. In the aftermath, Beckett is seen reconnecting with his old comrades, Cervantes, Aungst, and Barnes. The colonel then informs them of his decision to continue his service as their field operator in the future. Elsewhere, Slater is waiting at the pier for Beckett. Feeling the need to reconcile as she had initially dismissed his claims about the drone, unperturbed, Beckett offers her a drink which, despite the tension, she accepts with gratitude. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.